At first, Alex thought it was just part of the adjustment. After the divorce, the missed calls from his daughter, the short, awkward conversations, the unexplained coldness, they all seemed like natural fallout from the separation. He told himself it would pass. But months turned into years. Birthdays were missed. Invitations stopped. Conversations became polite but hollow until they stopped altogether. By the time Alex truly understood what had happened, the distance wasn't just emotional. It was complete. For Alex and for thousands of parents like him, the divorce decree wasn't the end of conflict. It was the beginning of a silent war for his child's heart and mind. In the fragile space after separation, children are incredibly vulnerable. If even one parent chooses to manipulate that vulnerability, subtly reframing love as abandonment, mistakes as betrayals, the seeds of alienation are planted. At first, the changes are quiet, a coolness in a hug, an unexpected withdrawal, strange phrases, oddly adult in their bitterness, slipping into casual conversations. Alex learned that the greatest skill he needed wasn't confrontation. It was observation. Children don't often say, "I feel manipulated." Instead, they drop hints. "Mom says you didn't really want us." "If you loved me more, you would have stayed." These weren't natural thoughts. They were borrowed narratives, planted carefully by someone shaping the child's view of the past, and of Alex himself. A child raised in a healthy post-divorce environment hears messages like, "Mommy and Daddy couldn't stay married, but they both love you more than anything." But a child subjected to alienation hears, "Daddy left because he doesn't love you anymore. Mommy didn't want to be a family anymore." These aren't just words. They are emotional landmines, teaching a child to distrust love itself. One day, Alex stumbled onto a story that mirrored his own. Another parent, once close to their children after a friendly divorce, watched helplessly over decades as those bonds eroded. Despite steady effort, calls, visits, letters, the connection frayed until it snapped. By adulthood, the children had cut off all contact, offering no explanation except a lingering, misplaced resentment that had never truly been theirs to carry. COVID-19 lockdowns accelerated the final disconnection, and once the silence hardened, there was no easy path back. Alienation doesn't always arrive with a bang. It often creeps like a mist, invisible, pervasive, deadly. Misplaced loyalties form. Small doubts grow into rigid beliefs. Bridges rot into walls. If left unchallenged, the emotional distance crystallizes into permanent estrangement. The war for your child's mind isn't fought with shouting matches or court filings. It is fought and won through observation, patience, and unconditional love. The danger of parental alienation is not just immediate loss. It is a quiet, compounding erosion of a relationship that should have lasted a lifetime. In the next section, we will explore how the emotional scars inflicted today ripple outward, shaping how children will love, trust, and build relationships long into their future. Healing starts with seeing. Protecting starts with believing what you see. The house was full, relatives gathering for a wedding, laughter echoing off the walls, hugs exchanged freely, but not for Alex. His daughter, the same little girl he once cradled on late nights, the one who used to sprint into his arms after school, stood on the opposite side of the room, polite but distant. No anger, no conversation, just a wall of cold, practiced indifference. Alex realized then, parental alienation doesn't end when childhood does. It mutates, deepening into something colder, quieter, and infinitely harder to heal. Even long after the custody battles ended and court orders gathered dust, the damage lived on inside his child. Trust issues, fear that if she let her guard down, she would be betrayed, just like she had been taught to believe by the parent who shaped her worldview. Attachment disorders, either clinging desperately to new friends or withdrawing completely, unable to form steady, secure bonds. Identity confusion, unsure who she really was, carrying a tangle of inherited resentments and half-true memories. Anxiety and depression, hidden behind sarcasm and mood swings, masking the deep sadness she didn't have words for. Relationship problems at school, isolating herself, mistrusting authority figures, viewing love as transactional or unsafe. Alex could see it all now, the price being paid not just in childhood, but across a lifetime. As his daughter moved into adulthood, the alienation didn't simply vanish. It matured. It calcified into new challenges. Relationship difficulties, pushing away partners who love her too much, clinging to those who repeated the cycle of control. Chronic self-doubt and low self-esteem, constantly questioning her worth, sabotaging success before anyone else could take it from her. Guilt and shame, somewhere deep inside, the knowledge that she might have misunderstood who her father really was, but unsure how to repair the damage or even if she was allowed to. Alienation from family roots, feeling like a stranger in rooms where she once belonged, disconnected from traditions, stories, and unconditional love. Anger and emotional shutdown, fluctuating between bursts of misplaced anger and an eerie emotional numbness that protected her from facing the real pain. Difficulty trusting mentors and leaders, seeing authority figures not as guides, but as threats, distrustful of anyone who offered help. Delayed emotional development, mature on the outside, but inside still carrying the unhealed wounds of a manipulated child. Alex thought of another story he had read, the words of a grown child who only saw the truth when it was too late. I was 28 when I realized my mother had manipulated me into hating my father. I wanted to reach out, to apologize, to reclaim lost time, but when I tried, I found out he had already passed away. I live every day with the regret of the years stolen from us. It was a grief without an enemy, a loss without a battle fought, a love stolen before it ever had a chance. Yet all was not lost. Healing was possible, but only if the scars were acknowledged, recognizing that manipulation shaped their childhood. Learning to trust again themselves, others, even authority. Rebuilding a stable identity not based on someone else's lies. Choosing a different future, a life led not by fear but by freedom. Alex could not rewrite the years, but he could leave the door open. He could heal himself, so that if his child ever came searching, she would find not judgment or anger, but love and truth waiting. Alienation isn't just a childhood tragedy. It is a theft of future relationships, of emotional safety, of trust and love itself. But knowledge, real, clear-eyed understanding, is the beginning of change. For the parents still fighting, and for the children still lost, the road to healing is real, and the first step is seeing alienation for what it is, a lie that can be unlearned and a scar that can be healed.